Mohieddine Kronfol, the CIO of Franklin Templeton Middle East, thank you so much for your time.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Let me ask you, in terms of your global footprint, but also your regional presence, where is the smart money right now? Where are assets being allocated? Where are the best gains, the best returns to be found?
And what I can tell you, as one of the largest global independent asset managers, Franklin Templeton has a very broad menu of investment products to share with investors. And so really we can offer them the world, essentially. And we've been doing that for a very long time.
When we look specifically at the UAE and compare it to the broader region, no two economies, no two markets are the same. So how do we compare? How are we positioned?
Very well positioned. I mean, we're very comfortable. I mean, I think the UAE obviously had maybe more to deal with respect to, the aftermath of the September 8 crisis. But if you look at just how quickly they were able to recover, and if you look at, for example, recent central bank data or recent bank earnings, it all points to a much healthier picture of significantly improved liquidity in the interbank market, significantly stronger balance sheets, and I think we're coming into this recent crisis actually on much better footing. On the equity side, we're very comfortable with the outlook for Saudi Arabia and Qatar in particular, principally because of these macro fundamentals that are very strong balance sheets, but also because of the level of corporate earnings as well as valuations, all of which is fairly conducive. So we're cautiously optimistic. We think the economic fundamentals are very strong. I think the chances for financial market performance are fairly good, but we have to be just mindful of the global context that can affect us negatively, as well as the recent political situation.
In terms of the headwinds, you've mentioned regional instability. We're also looking at uncertainty in the Eurozone, renewed uncertainty in the United States as well. Are they really the biggest headwinds when it comes to our regional growth?
What's been happening in the US and Europe doesn't have very strong implications in the short term, but I think in the long run they definitely open up very important debates about, for example, how do you manage your international reserves? How do you remain pegged to the dollar, or what sort of monetary policy do you want to have? It has an effect on trade flows. I would say that what's happening abroad is important, but not so much in the short term, but more in the medium to long term.
In terms of our move from frontier to emerging to developed market here in the Middle East, especially in the UAE, do you think that having a bond market, establishing that as part of the financial infrastructure, is really the next step we need to take?
I think we're years away, but I think you'll start seeing tangible improvements. Every few months you'll get a positive announcement. I'm hoping next year we may get sovereign ratings. We may have the debt office out of Abu Dhabi perhaps pursue its first sovereign issue. So I think it's a very realistic target, and I think it can be achievable in a relatively short period of time, but you do require some time.
Gaze into your crystal ball for me. Give me a projection of 12, 18 months down the line. How do you expect regional but also international markets and economies to perform?
So I wouldn't be surprised to see over a 12 or 18-month period that we sort of reprice in line with, I think, global benchmarks, whether it's with respect to earnings or just simple valuation metrics. So we see some room for upside there. Bond markets have been much more resilient. Year-to-date performance is up about 7%. I think if we look at some of our mandates over the past 12 months, it's up about 15%. So we don't expect the same sort of type of returns, but we expect them to be positive, and we expect there to be much more growth. So we're looking for more issuance that can contribute to performance, but just the general level of interest rates would point to a more reasonable sort of return of sort of mid-single digits.
Mohieddine Kronfol, CIO of Franklin Templeton, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.